Hello to everybody and welcome to Jim's 5am Club. It's lunchtime on this magnificent Monday. It feels more like a spring day or a summer's day than an autumn day. It's an absolute cracker. Blue sky, gentle breeze, and the sun is ever so warm. It's a glorious time of the year and great to be out and about. And as you can probably see here, there's quite a few people starting to get round the CBD, and lunchtime in the city, and a bit of action, a bit of commotion. Not quite what it was like pre-COVID, because we don't have any international tourists here, but I'm sure with time it'll get better and we'll have swarms of people coming to Sydney and making the most of this beautiful harbour that we have. Anyway, today I want to do another book summary. This is my fourth vlog for today, and I just did some maths before, and in order to reach my 1,000 vlogs, 1,000 English vlogs that is, by my birthday, I need to do 4 a day. So this is my fourth, so I'm on track. If I do 4 a day, it's going to be a big call, but I need to do my prep at night and on the bus on the way home and on the way into work, and I need about an hour and a half of prep, and then I can pump out these vlogs and reach my target, hopefully. So the book summary that I want to do today is called Leadership and Self-Deception, and it's put together by the Arbinger Institute. I've done another book by them which I found very interesting, so we'll go through this and see where it leads us. So the authors basically put forward a quote, and we'll kick off this book summary with their quote, and the quote goes as follows: "Self-deception is like this. It blinds us to the true causes of problems, and once we are blind, all the solutions we can think of will actually make matters worse." It's really interesting. So what they're basically saying is that we have a number of biases and self-deceptions at play in our lives. And these deceptions, these biases, these challenges that we all face, regardless of how smart you are, regardless of how educated you are, regardless of how experienced you are, there are a number of challenges that we all face, a number of biases, a number of self-deceptions that impact our ability to see the world the way it is, and we trick ourselves. And instead of solving our problems, sometimes we end up making our problems and other people's problems around us even worse. So the author goes on to say that we humans, we people, tend to find ways of justifying what we're doing, justifying our hatred, justifying our awfulness, justifying our biases, our bigotry, and all of those things. You'll always find a way to justify whatever you're doing, and it's just the way we're wired. We'll always find a reason, a deceptive reason, to understanding and justifying to ourselves that we are right in doing what we're doing. But it's important to understand that what we're doing is we're deceiving. We're deceiving ourselves with all of these justifications, and what we end up doing is we end up thinking and deceiving ourselves to the point where we think that everyone else is just an object without feelings, and we are right and they are wrong. So what a way of looking at the world, thinking that your slither of reality, because each and every one of us get through life with slithers, with small pieces of information, with small experiences that we then use to be the magnifying glass and the focal point for us to then measure and baseline everything else too. So the first formal point that comes out of this book from this author is that self-deception makes you think that the needs of other people are not very important, which makes you treat them like objects. And I guess we've all done this throughout our lives. You know, you don't give a damn what other people think, say or do, as long as you get what you want. But what the author then goes on to remind us about is that everyone wants and deserves respect. And that's what society's laws, customs and traditions are built on. You know, they're built on this principle to respect one another, because everyone, regardless of their station in life, regardless of their job, regardless of their income, regardless of their level of intelligence, everybody wants and deserves respect. So how do we go about this? So deception makes you see things less clearly. So instead of seeing things objectively, we're seeing things subjectively, and it's subjected to our biases and our view of the world. You see people as you think they are, rather than how they really are. You know, think about this, ponder this. We do it all the time. We sit and think of people, we judge people on who we think they are rather than how they really are. We don't give them a chance. We don't give anybody really much of a chance to shine if we don't see them as the sort of person who shines. I remember growing up, you know, and my mother always used to say, you know, kala afito eki kriso. You know, when you'd look around and certain people got better treated or better treatment than other people, my mother made the observation, you know, kala, does she have it kriso, afito eki kriso, which translated into English means, is her vagina made of gold? Which is just a play on words and just a way of sort of suggesting that some people are golden people, you know, the golden child, the golden boy, the golden girl. They seem to get all the attention, they seem to get all the favours, because people see them a lot differently and a lot better than what they really are. But we need to be aware that a lot of the things that we do are based on false assumptions that suggest that your needs are more important than other people's needs, and also that certain people's needs, depending on whether or not you regard them highly enough, that their needs are more important than other people's needs. The second formal point to come out of this book is where the author says that you deceive yourself by focusing too much on other people's weaknesses, while at the same time only looking at our virtues and our strengths. Wow, what a powerful, profound point that is. So when we're comparing and contrasting ourselves to other people, what we'll do is we'll immediately focus in on their weaknesses whilst we keep on thinking about and focusing on our strengths. That's funny. Hey, check the fish down there. Can you see the leather jacket next to that pole? He's just eating off that pole there. The water's cleared up here in the harbour. A couple of weeks ago, with all the storms and all the runoff, this water here was filthy. It was dark brown, you couldn't see anything. Whereas now you can see a bit of translucence, and you can see, actually, as I say, that fish down there feeding off the pole, the leather jacket. So continuing along this point here, what the author is saying is that because we deceive ourselves by looking at our strengths, or looking at our strengths and virtues, and comparing that imaginary position to other people's, the way we see other people, it becomes a vicious circle. and we can be caught. We can be caught in that vortex, which is very, very hard to escape, that vortex of judgment, the vortex of, as I say, hatred, and the vortex of judgment. So we need to be very careful, because what happens is you become selfish, and even more selfish, so that we just continue to grow our selfishness, and through our selfishness, other people suffer. They suffer badly. Another example is, when was the last time you decided where you were going to go for a holiday? Did you take into consideration your partner's needs? Or did you just decide to go on holidays where you want to go and not take into consideration your spouse's needs? Because we need to understand and learn, according to this author, that our spouse's needs are just as important as our needs. Our family's needs, our co-workers' needs are just as important. We don't have precedence over other people. Yes, by all means, we try and maximise our returns, but by the same token, we just can't be selfish and stuff everybody else up just because we want to have a better time and get more out of life. There needs to be some fairness, there needs to be some balance, and there needs to be some love in what we do. So the third point which comes out of this book is a remedy. And one of the remedies is that we should try and look at committing to always act on the instinct to help other people. And if you want to annihilate self-deception and reach your potential, we need to look, as we said before, outside of our own needs, outside of ourselves, and to understand that we are part of a web, we are part of a network, and we can't keep on taking without other people gaining. Otherwise we do it at their expense, and ultimately we'll do it at our expense as well, because we won't have anybody wanting to go on holidays with us, to work with us, to partner with us, to party with us, and all of those things. So the way we look at it is that you have to understand is that self-deception comes from what you think and how you feel. So you need to ask yourself if you're really better than other people. It's only when we indulge in competition and we're able to benchmark and baseline ourselves that we actually learn and realise that we're not all that much better than other people. If anything, we're average at best. Not everybody can be a leader in their field. Not everybody can be the top performer, through definition. The majority of people sit in the middle of that bell curve, and you get a few exceptions to the top end and a few exceptions to the bottom end. But by definition, most people are average at best. And we need to understand this when we're talking to our children, when we're comparing our children, and not to inflate their egos too much. Otherwise, they'll get disappointed when they grow up, go out to work, try and build relationships, only to find that life is indeed a struggle, as it is for everyone. So we need to be nice and considerate to others, and your interactions will become better, and you'll be happier and be less drained, and you will cause less draining on those after you, around you. And to remember, we marry people, we live with people, we work with people to partner with them for our joint benefit, and not one person's gain and another person's loss. So something to mull over, something to think about, and you need a certain amount of maturity to be able to understand what we're talking about here, because it's not about gaining for yourself, but it's about achieving a balance where we give and take, ebb and flow, win and lose. sometimes you gain by losing and letting somebody else win. Now, as my mother used to always tell me, do you want to be right or do you want to be in love? There were a number of years where Paula and I would be fighting like a cat and dog every single day. But that was all because of our different parenting styles, and the fighting was all about our children. But we got over that. Our children grew up. We've got grandchildren. We're still together, thank God. And I always ask myself, I just wonder why Paula has stuck it out and is still with me. God bless her. Because if it was anybody else, they would have left years ago. So once again, let's finish off. Thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club on this glorious Sydney day down here harbourside. So let's finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I am well, and I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay reasonable, stay connected, stay reasonable, stay responsible, and let's keep an open mind and an open heart and not be too full of ourselves. Understand that we all have biases, we all have deceptions, we all deceive ourselves with our importance, and we need to sit back, step back, and look at the challenges that we create for ourselves and others, and to be a little bit more free-flowing and to give and spend more time giving rather than worrying about taking. Because if you're selfish and everything you want to do is for your personal gain, then as we said, you're going to end up lonely, you're going to end up with lots of things but nobody to share it with. And at the end of the day, who wants to end their life? Who wants to end their life alone and thinking that they could have had everything, they could have shared it with many people, but they selfishly kept it and lived a lonely and miserable existence. So thank you very much, and we'll finish up here. I look forward to coming to you again from a different location with a different message, a message of empowerment, where we talk about things that will hopefully help us get through the day, get through the morning, get through our life, and to be the wind beneath our wings, the wave beneath our board, and the zephyr bellowing our sails. So fair winds and fair weather to everybody. Wishing you the best for this awesome day, a day that will never ever come back. So make the most of it. It's a day that Prince Philip won't get to experience physically. So make the most of today, love each other, bring out the best in the people around you, and be the energy that helps other people, bring out the best in other people, and don't be the sort of person who just drains the living daylights out of people. So I don't know what's happened to that fish down there, but it's gone on a bit of a joyride. So Yassas, take care, and thank you once again for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club. Bye for now.